today. So I know that this is volunteer appreciation, and so I was remembering my wife was a high school counselor, a middle school counselor and a high school counselor, and so she would often, and she's a marriage family therapist, so we would talk about various things, but she would often say to people who were maybe troubled or just wondering about what to do, she'd say the getting is in the giving. The getting's in the giving. So when you're giving, you're getting back. And so for volunteers, I think there's a reciprocal loop that we sometimes overlook, that it can really restore you. So here's a song called Getting's in the Giving. The getting's in the giving. The getting's in the giving. You'll be living when you lend a hand. 'Cause we all need help. Every woman, child, and man. Don't you know the getting's in the giving? Getting's in the giving. Too wrapped up in all my day-to-day, I couldn't see the forest for the trees, chasing dreams with only room for one. It was only me that I was trying to please. Turned around, changed my point of view, listened to the whispers inside my soul. There's more joy when you look outside and see the world connected as a whole. The getting's in the giving. Yeah, the getting's in the giving. You'll be living when you lend a hand. 'Cause we all need help. Every woman, child, every man, you know there's getting in the giving. Oh, there's getting in the giving. When you're wondering what it's all about, trying hard to find your place in time, look around, there's always room for love. All together is when we start to climb. Yeah, the getting's in the giving. Oh, the getting's in the giving, yeah. You'll be living when you lend a hand. 'Cause we all need help. Every single woman, child, and man, and non-binary person, 'cause I had to include that today. Yeah, don't you know that the getting's in the giving? Getting's in the giving, don't you know it right? Getting's in the giving, yeah. Getting's in the giving, can you say it with me now? Getting's in the giving, that's what you gotta think about when you're thinking about yourself. Now the getting's in the giving, talking about volunteers, trying to make it wonder why we say it. Now getting's in the giving, everybody knows that we all know now the getting's in the giving. Getting's in the giving, baby. You'll be living when you lend a hand. 'Cause we all need help, every woman, child, and man. Yeah, the getting's in the giving. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely fabulous.
See, a lot can happen when you listen to your wife tell you things that you think about, right?
Isn't that true for all of us? Right? We're never prophets in our own home, right? Oh, well, good morning. Today we are holding a very special service in appreciation of our volunteers. And as we always do, actually we didn't do it last year. We didn't do it in 2021 because we had to close our doors and we didn't have volunteers. But so happy that we can do it in 2022 because we opened our doors in July. And this morning we are honoring all of those who gave service to Unity Spiritual Center last year in 2021. And I'm also going to include the names of some people who are still affiliated with the church who have given service throughout my 12-year tenure as senior minister. So let's begin our celebration with a prayer. Spirit of devotion, God of many names, and one transforming and abundant love. We pause this hour to express gratitude to all the people of this congregation, children and adults, who have helped to make this community thrive. For the countless hours of support, greeting, ushering, cooking and cleaning, hanging, hammering, repairing and stocking, prepping, planning, teaching, and meeting, we give thanks. We would not be a community were it not for all of our service to one another. And it is for this love in action that we give thanks today. Amen. And what I want to say to all of our volunteers is this. You may never know the profound effect that you have made on someone's life. A kind word, an affirming prayer, or just listening can make so much difference to someone who is sick, in pain, or lonely. You generously give the gift of your time to make contact, provide support and encouragement, and perhaps provide humor to make someone's day a little bit more bearable because you have taken the time to care and to listen. And this has meant even more during this time of global pandemic. Generously give your gift of time to our operations, our Sunday service, and other events so that they can run smoothly, so that everyone entering this building and entering our Zoom room can feel seen, welcomed, and appreciated. And now we include SAFE to that list, as checking for proof of vaccination and handing out masks are now part of our volunteer roles. You give of yourself and you bring with you your life experiences, skills, abilities, compassion, intellect, and humor. Notice how much I say humor. I love the fact that it's part of our daily Sunday prayer. And you ask for nothing in return. You volunteer for many different reasons, but for whatever reason you volunteer, you provide support and talents that serve our beloved spiritual center. You do not ask for accolades. You give your time generously without any expectation of reward. Yet it is our prayer that lasting friendships, social interaction, and fun may be just some of the unexpected rewards that you gain from your volunteering experience. We also pray that God will continue to bless you for sharing your many gifts and talents, and that our spiritual community will look to you with gratitude for the selfless work you do to enrich the lives of all of us. Please know that we genuinely appreciate and value your commitment of time and talent. And for this, we thank you. I'm going to read the list of volunteers and tell you a little bit about what they do. We also have a basket full of gifts, and for the 2021 volunteers who are here in the sanctuary, we hope that you will choose one of them as Ethel brings the basket to you, or hands it to you, I guess, after the service. For those of you who are watching on Zoom, we will be happy to send you your choice of gift if you contact the office. I meant to have visual aids up here, but I will tell you that the choices are a pen, a notepad, or a small portable flashlight to show you what a light you are. So now let me tell you a little bit about the people who volunteer for you and some of what they have done in the past or currently do now. And that's okay, Ethel, we can do this at the end. So again, this is a list of people who volunteered in 2021 and also includes some people who are still affiliated with the church, who I've seen on Zoom, and who I also want to give thanks to. And one is John Antony. He starts the list. He has meant so much to our community, and he has been an usher, a former board member, and always provided the meat. I called him the meat man because he always provided the meat for our Labor Day, our annual Labor Day cookout. Carol Bailey has done many things in her time here, including being a bookstore volunteer, organizer, painter, usher, doing the holiday cards for the vets, helping out with hospitality, being a part of social events, being a part of the welcome table, and the prayer team. Kelly Beal has been a board member and an usher greeter, and when I was looking at the list, I noticed how each year she's fulfilled one of those or both of those duties. And her husband, Craig Beal, also an usher greeter. He's helped out with Children's Church. He hung our big screens, and he hung this art exhibit, which you see around you. So we're very grateful to Craig. Rosa Bundy, who I know is on, I think she's on. Rosa Bundy has, through the years, helped out with hospitality, been on the anniversary committee, the garden team, assistant choir coordinator, choir treasurer, social events committee, children's church volunteer, caroler, board member, and hospitality team chairperson, coordinator. So we give thanks to Rosa for all the ways she has helped USC. Q. Chrisman, Ron will know more than I do because she's kind of behind the scenes about all the ways in which she's helped us, but I have personally seen her clean up the church, sweep the church, and she, of course, was one of the donors of our new roof along with Ron. Lydia Coleman has been an usher greeter. She did an incredible workshop on how to make silk scarves, and she also was a part of the Zoomapalooza team. Candy Corbett, who is with us today, served as a board member and of course played a big part in our hospitality team. We always could count on Candy to not only do delicious food offerings, but also really cute ones for our holidays. Like I remember the little spider cupcakes I think you made for our Halloween party. So we give thanks to Candy. Lakshmi Crawford isn't here, but she has been here since we reopened our doors, and we could always count on her to volunteer for reading the daily word and doing it with her beautiful skills as a former actor. Ruben Diaz, who I know is on, and in fact, he's writing in the chat. He says, I miss helping washing dishes in the kitchen, although infrequently. He misses moving chairs into a circle for our talks. He misses our Thanksgiving dinner. He misses us. We miss you too, Ruben, and we also give thanks for your service as an usher greeter, a Zoom hospitality facilitator, and a backup Zoom volunteer, as well as a de facto children's church volunteer, since the children in our congregation are with you when your wife Josephine attends services. So we thank you, Ruben, for all you do. Lisa Dollar, I know, is on Zoom. I don't know if she's on today, but she, in the past, has helped with our yard sale and our prayer team. She also used to do flowers for us. She did beautiful flower arrangements earlier in her time here. Richard Forbes, who married to Annette Hershey Forbes, who we've seen regularly, served really well as a board member. He just brought so much to the board, primarily because of his expertise as a project manager working at the airport. He also was an AV volunteer when we needed one. And I've got Brock Ford on the list of volunteers because he was a volunteer before he became part of our paid ministry team, although I use the word paid in quotes because let me tell you, he can't retire on what we're paying him right now. But one of the reasons why we wanted to have him be a staff member is because he was such an amazing volunteer. And as I've said to the board and I've said to him, I have never seen anyone, except maybe Ron Willis, show such a heart for service. And honestly, the moment of a need was spoken, Brock was there to say, I can do, what do you need? Let me help you. How can I help? And so for your time as a volunteer, Brock, in which you served as a prayer chaplain, gave us a prayer workshop, have done and still do these beautiful slides, certainly served as an AV technician, and I wrote all around great guy with a heart for service. We want to thank you. Joy Gale was a special service usher greeter with her husband Lawrence Hodge, and I know Joy sometimes makes it to services along with her sister Jerry McGovern. Sylvia Grady, I don't know if she's on today, but Sylvia has brought so much to us through the years, including being a greeter, serving on the anniversary committee, being a prayer chaplain, serving or helping with hospitality, being a former choir treasurer and singer, a caroler back in the day, being on the social events committee, being the children's church leader extraordinaire for a number of years, being a board member, still creating our beautiful Day of the Dead altar, being a textile artist. You may not know when you see the pretty runners in the Fillmore room that she made those. She just saw a need and she filled it. She made those beautiful runners. She also was on the Zumapalooza team, so we want to thank Sylvia for all her service. So happy that Shirley is in the house because Shirley Harris, in addition to just being, a vision of beauty, every time she walks into a room, I wish the people on Zoom could see her because she's not dressed in her customary purple, but she is wearing red for the 49ers, and it's got these gold metallic accents, so you have never seen such an elegant 49ers fan in your life. So we appreciate your beauty, Shirley, and we also thank you for your service as an usher greeter, doing holiday help, being on the board of directors, a wonderful one, being on the anniversary committee, organizing a Black History Month, and being on our Zumapalooza team just this year. Thank you so much. I also included Michael Hatfield on the list. And yes, Michael is a paid employee, but he actually does volunteer duties, does things that are not part of his job description, including but not limited to being in a tree to help trim them. I actually got a picture one time of Michael in a tree. Of course, he helps with the sound. He's an on-call music entertainer, has put together our wonderful fall concerts for many years, composer in residence. He's been the MC for an anniversary celebration we had. Most importantly, I want to say, he's been a Zoom teacher. And my husband and I were talking about this yesterday, how much of a debt that we owe Michael for being able to pivot so quickly and getting not only the ministry team, up to speed on Zoom, but also helping members of our congregation on his own time. I know for a fact that he got at least one person, and I think a number of people, proficient in Zoom so that they could join us. So I want to thank him especially for that. Yeah. And I also said that he's a one-person party, so no one else can fill that role. His wife, Valerie, also has given so much to us through the years, including decorating, working in the garden as a volunteer, being a backup usher, a daily word reader, being on the social events committee, helping with the holiday boutique, being a worship assistant, being an anniversary celebration chairperson. I guess that was 5 years ago. Altar decorating and Christmas tree decorating, being a caroler, being on the Zumapalooza team last November, and a reluctant but valiant AV technician. She stepped up when we needed help back there. So for all the ways in which Valerie has helped us as a volunteer, we want to give big thanks to her as well. And for those of you who don't know, both Michael and Valerie are currently in Egypt. And for those of us who follow them on follow them on Facebook, we have been seeing these beautiful pictures of Egypt, which is so exciting, and I'm really glad they're getting a well-deserved trip of a lifetime. Gloria Hernandez, I have seen on the Zoom, and looking through my files, I saw so many things that Gloria pitched to me and just suggested to me through the years. She always had so many wonderful ideas, and so no surprise that I wanted her to be a board member, which she was. She also instituted Change for Good, which she used to stand up here, I think on the second Sunday of every month, and shake a can full of coins, and those raise money for our screens. She was an usher and greeter, a wonderful ideas person. We miss you, Gloria, and we're so glad that you're staying connected through Zoom in San Diego. Annette Hershey-Forbes has helped out with Children's Church. She's been on the hospitality team. I call her a resident photographer, but she did a lovely photo exhibit of members of our community that was on display. And of course, as the mother of Alex, our beloved Children's Church member, so for all Annette has given us, we give thanks. Cheryl Hodgins, I know she's done so many things too through the years, including being an usher. She was a former board member, former Children's Church director. I believe she served for 20 years. I mean, something extraordinary. She's been on the prayer team. She did the Reiki service, the Spirit Expressing Healing service. She recently, I think was it Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve, was a special services usher greeter and was on the Zumapalooza team. So many thanks to Cheryl. Mary Ellen Jurek also shares our great appreciation for all that she's done for us through the years, including being an usher. When I started, she was the board president. She, with Cheryl, has been a Children's Church volunteer, was on the prayer team, bake sale leader. Someday when we're fully open and it's safe to gather as a big group, I hope you'll come back and try out one of her wonderful baked good items. She's been a big part of social events, also the Reiki / Spirit Expressing Healing service, made sandwiches for a tea we had. Recently was special services usher greeter and also on the Zumapalooza team. Shania Cusisto, who I am in touch with and who I also have seen on Zoom, has been in her years here on the prayer team. She's been a worship assistant, has helped with hospitality, brought a Qigong ministry to USC. We used to have Qigong classes in the Fillmore room that Shania brought to us. She also part of the Reiki Spirit Expressing Healing ministry and has helped us before with decorating beautiful altars. Brian Lance, I've seen him this year. I'm hoping we'll see him again. But through the years, he's brought so much to USC, including being an usher, helping out with Magic Penny, being a co-founder of the Wisdom Circle, which was something that used to happen after Sundays where people would literally meet in a circle. And I should add, Lisa Dollar was involved in that as well. And they would have in-depth conversations. He was founder of Creating a Life of Purpose, a frequent daily word reader, helped with holidays, helped with the worship service as an assistant, and also just a great idea man. Susan Ledford, we are so grateful, has joined us in the last couple of years. She is a wonderful board member. She volunteered her time to help out with the website, our brand new website, which I hope you've all checked out. Also works as a usher greeter and another great ideas person. And because of Susan's suggestion, she got this letter in the mail saying, hey, do you know of any place that might like to be a polling place? And Susan forwarded that to me, and I thought, wow, that would be so cool. So I followed up on it, and we are now a regular polling place, which is so wonderful to be able to be in service to the community doing that, and that is all because of Susan. So thank you, Susan, for that. Abby McGreevy, who I know has come to our book studies and has been a part of various services. She has done so much during her time here. I really am sure that I'm going to miss something, but things that were directly instituted because of her were the blessing of the animals, which I know everybody loves so much. I do. She assisted in the formulation of a choir. She was a board member for many years, including board president. She did the scarves and handbags fundraiser, which a lot of us remember fondly. She also did a holiday boutique for a number of years. She suggested, what did she suggest? So many things. She suggested the Thanksgiving service that we have on the Sunday before Thanksgiving. That was Abby's idea. So for these and many more that I'm probably not mentioning, we want to give big thanks to Abby. Mike Nucalo, hopefully all of you have had the opportunity to see him around. I think he's now 95. And he and his wife Rose have been attending for 50 years. So just that, right? 50 years of volunteer service deserves a big round of applause. And in their time here, Mike has been an unofficial photographer, an usher, and I said the yard sale ringmeister. Rose has helped with hospitality. She started or was part of a peace team. She was on the social events committee and helped organize Mercy Center outings. Kathy Russell. Kathy Russell is a wonderful volunteer because she's so quiet and modest. You really have no idea how much she's doing until you start to think about it. And I just want to tell you about some of the things she's been involved in. She's been a greeter, she's worked in the bookstore, she's helped out with Children's Church, she's been a board member and board president. She donated our refrigerator. We have a nice new refrigerator that doesn't leak, thanks to Kathy just quietly donating that. She planned our wonderful Halloween party that we had a few years ago. She was the team chair of the Zoomapalooza, so we really thank her for that. And I added wonderful organizer of fun social events. Randy Swindell is another person who has done so much in such a short time. She currently is a board member and, as you can see, an usher greeter. And I put you down as patron of our USC Arts, Randy, because thanks to you, soon, it'll be past my time here, but you are going to have a beautiful display of stained glass symbols of different interfaith spiritual approaches. She's currently working on that. We've seen some of the what do you call them? Not drafts, but in process. The work's in process. She also is responsible for a beautiful copper sign that we will be installing on our steeple, hopefully while I'm still here. She's been instrumental in making that happen. You know, we have such a beautiful building, but it really needs a steeple. And thanks to Randy's generosity and interest, we're going to have a beautiful copper sign that will be introduced sometime in the month of February, we're hoping. That says unity, so when everybody passes our beautiful church, they'll know it's a unity church, and we thank you so much for all you do, Randy. Josephine Tan is not with us, bless her heart. She's got a child with COVID, and I know her mom is still in recovery, and she's being a very supportive daughter. And so we greet you, Josephine, and Josephine's mother, who we know must be special to have a daughter like Josephine. And Josephine, too, through her short time here, has added so much to our community, including being a board member and now president, being a marketing volunteer. She and her boys have gone to San Francisco State University to try to get interest in our church. I know she's done other things, too, like checking out, what do they call it, Nextdoor, the online neighborhood community. She's another fabulous person with great ideas. I mean, if you sit down with Josephine for very long, you're going to hear her mention all these wonderful ideas with such enthusiasm and excitement, and I just am thrilled that she is such an instrumental part of our community now and is currently serving as board president. Ethel Ting Kwan, we want to thank. She's been a member, you've been a member of our church for a long time. I think maybe you predate me, right? You came before, okay, 30 years, there you go. You definitely predate me. And she's worked in different capacities, including being a greeter, usher, as she is today, helping out during the special services. Most importantly, and I want to mention this, Ethel founded what we kind of loosely call the We Miss You ministry, but I can't tell you how important this has been during the time of COVID, because Ethel has made an effort during this time to reach out to people who are homebound, including our beloved John Antony and Betsy Ford. What an incredible gift. So thank you, Ethel. That means a lot, I know, to them and to all of us. Juanita Tysky. I want to tell you a story about Juanita. I think maybe with the board. I think I was with the board, and I mentioned your name, and people said, oh yeah, she's been here a long time. I said, no, I think she's been here like maybe 2.5 years. Nobody could believe it, because you have been such an instrumental part of our community from the day you walked in the doors. So even though you've only been in our community, I think it's about 2.5 years, right? Maybe 3? You have made your presence known in so many wonderful ways, Juanita, and we are so grateful that you have joined us. I mean, look at this. You know, what you're looking at right there, Juanita was responsible for. She is an incredible decorator, hat maker. She's been on the Zumapalooza team. She has suggested other social events, and I know we'll be part of those when we're fully reopened, for all the incredible enthusiasm and joy and fun and beautiful colors that you bring to us. Thank you so much, Juanita. We love you, and we're glad you're here. Ocean of Love. Thank you. She came up with our tagline. That's right. Tagline originator. Awesome. All right. Ron Willis, you know, he's amazing. We're going to leave some time for him to address you directly. He's one of the only people I would let do that. He said, can I have some time? I said, yeah. I wouldn't trust too many people with that unannounced and really unknown. I have no idea what he's going to say, but boy, you have earned your trust, and you have earned our appreciation in so many ways, Ron, for all the things you've done through the years. Another one who's quiet, does so much behind the scenes, including in the past, he's been a board member. He's reviewed bills. He's one of the reasons why we keep our budget lean and mean, because he'll, take over particular bills and negotiate the best price for us. He's been on the garden team, and he's also been just a volunteer garden helper. He's our, in effect, he's our IT person. He's the person we always go to when we need help with our computers. He's been a worship assistant. He's gotten his 6-foot-plus frame up in the crawl space of our attic just to help out with that, changing, changing filters on our furnace. As you see every Sunday, he's a volunteer drummer. Just an all-around earth angel who we are so indebted to, and that really is the word. We're so indebted to you, Ron. Thank you. What was that? He bought, absolutely. No need or task is too small or too great with Ron. So, yeah, so many things. Helen E. has been with us for a number of years, and it's just so great to have you around more regularly because you just have such a lovely and loving presence. And I think just add a lot to our community by just being here. But she also has helped with Children's Church, is an usher and greeter. She's currently a board member, and I put down she is another amazing ideas person, another one who has wonderful ideas and resources that she brings to us. We're so grateful for you, Helen. And Lynn Zachariah, who is not here, but she has attended services and is still affiliated with our church, and she has done things including being a prayer chaplain, a worship assistant, doing the prayer letters, which Jerry now does. She's helped with decorating our garden, has helped with hospitality, and other things and the other needs of the facility, and caroled back when people caroled at Laguna Honda. So I know I've taken a little bit extra time, but I always love to read this list because I think it's important for people to know, what the community members around them are doing and how much we appreciate them, how grateful we are for them. And if I've forgotten anybody or if I've forgotten any particular task, feel free to let me know. But I think I was able to cover our current list of volunteers, and just want to thank you for everything. And let's see here. Sorry, got a little bit lost there, thinking about all these wonderful people. So many thanks to all of you. There are 7 people in particular who I want to give special recognition to for their help this year, meaning 2021. And as some of you may remember, we used to have a Shining Star Award that we gave out every month to a volunteer who had done something special. Since this will be the last time that I'm going to be able to thank the very special volunteers who have made such a difference to USC, I want to give the final Shining Star Awards to people who have helped us during this time of COVID to keep the church running and connected. These are all people who volunteered their time to do that, and how grateful we are for their service. I'm going to go a little bit backwards. I'm giving one to Michael Hatfield again for all the help that he has given us with Zoom. It's the reason we've been able to stay connected so well. So Michael Hatfield gets one for his volunteer time. I'm also going to give one to Brock again for his time as a volunteer. He just joined our community and gave us so much so quickly. So for your volunteer time, Brock, thank you so much. I want to give one to Ron for his continuing help with our operations. Ron has so many of these Shining Star Awards, he probably could decorate his Christmas tree with them. But nonetheless, Ron, I'm going to give you another one. So here we go. And the remaining 4 go to our board members who have worked with me to keep us going through this time, who have wrestled with difficult questions like, what do we do, to reopen our doors and keep people safe, staying on top of the latest, and just having such a beautiful attitude and love for USC, enough to volunteer their time to make us sail smoothly through these waters. So I won't ask you to come up right now, but for Helen, for Susan, for Randy, and for Josephine, I just want to thank you so much for your service, your volunteer service on the board in these couple of years. So let's remember that volunteers are the lifeblood of any community. And as we venture into, this new week of this new year, let us remember that our volunteers' hands are the hands of power that heal, help, mend, teach, love, and represent Christ on earth. If you have had the time to do something for others, you know how great that feels. If you haven't, now is the time to do so, and we have many volunteer opportunities available that you can fill this year. You also can be creative and suggest things that maybe we haven't done before, but that you'd like to volunteer your time doing. I hope you will consider doing that. So as we end our service with a poem of gratitude today, let's keep in mind all of those who have stepped forward or are currently stepping forward in service to USC. Let's use our time, talent, and abilities to make our lives better, to make the lives of our spiritual family better, to make our spiritual center better, to make our city, state, and nation better. Let's build a better world today. And so it is. So if you've been coming to Unity Spiritual Center of San Francisco long enough, you may have heard me read this little poem called Dedicated Hearts before at a volunteer appreciation service. But as I read it again today, think about the volunteers at USC who you have seen in action, and perhaps visualize yourself at a service next year as these words are said about you. Dedicated hearts like yours are not so easy to find. It takes a special person to be so generous and kind. To care so much for your fellow man is a quality all too rare, yet you give of your time and talents for all in need to share. So thank you for being a volunteer. We're privileged to work with you. We want you to know how appreciated you are, not just today, but the whole year through. And so it is. Thank you, God, and thank you, volunteers. And I am now going to turn over the microphone to Ron Willis.
Well, I don't often look for opportunities to do public speaking, but sometimes you just can't avoid it. And today is one of those days. And there's too much that needs to be said about what Reverend Maggie has contributed to the church over the years that she's been here, something like 15 plus years here, first as office manager and the last 12 plus as minister. And Shirley and I were both on the board actually when that transition took place. And the first thing is Maggie volunteered to be our spiritual director, and not as a complete volunteer position, but that was something she decided to take on. And she stepped up then, as she has for so many other challenges. So she had to become ordained as a unity minister, which she wasn't at the time, in order to take on the job of minister here, and which she did on her own. And she inherited a very difficult financial situation, along with the building in need of much upgrades, and the finances were not that good, etc. And so, yes, she's on the payroll, but I'm guessing for probably about 1/3 of her time, or about 1/3 of the amount of what she should be paid, and the rest is volunteered. So as far as I'm concerned, without a doubt, Maggie is the number one. Didn't think this would be so tough to get through. Maggie's the number one volunteer. So anyway, please join me in a huge round of applause for Reverend Maggie.
Well, now I'm all verklempt. And all I can say, Ron, is that is high praise indeed coming from you. Thank you. Okay, I've got another month left, right? If I get started, I'll be crying for, the next 30 days, so I better not. But just thanks to all of you. Thank you, Ron, for those kind words. And this is a great place we have. This is a special place. You know that, or you wouldn't be here. And you know that, or you wouldn't be there. And my biggest prayer is that this place can draw more and more people who can experience the love and connection, opportunities, growth, fun that we experience here. This place is a gift. And thank you all for all of your contributions, for making it the gift that it is. All right. So I think we're good to go to the tagline that Juanita Teiske gave us, and also illustrated in her wonderful art piece, that we are an ocean of love. So let's say it together. Here at Unity Spiritual Center, we are an ocean of love. Here at Unity Spiritual Center, we have an inspiring vision, an exciting mission, and a compelling values by which we strive to live. And I invite you to join with me in saying them aloud. Our vision is centered in God. We co-create a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. Our mission is we are a creative, joy-filled spiritual community dedicated to healing, inspiring, and transforming the lives of all people through prayer, education, and love. And our values are, we are spirit-led, generous with resources, inclusive, joyously creative, and guided by integrity. And in this space, feeling so inspired by our vision, mission, and values, feeling enriched by what we've heard today about the incredible people who serve this community. Let us take time now to be a channel for enrichment through our generous tithes and love offerings. As Patrick sings another beautiful song, which I'm so happy I don't have to sing backup on. I got Brock or Jerry, I don't know which one's doing it, but I'm so happy it's not me. as Patrick shares another beautiful song, please take that time to write out a check to USC, or if you're on Zoom, to make a donation online using the link that Jerry just put in the chat. And if you're here in the sanctuary, Ethel and Shirley will come forward to take your offering. Practicing the principle of tithing ourselves as a spiritual community, we are pleased to tithe 10% of the offering collected every Sunday to various Unity organizations and local nonprofits serving our city. And let's take a moment now to bless our tithes and our love offerings, holding them in our hands or next to our hearts as we say our offertory prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
Thank you again, folks, for having me here, and thank you, Michael, for letting me sub for you in this church. You guys do have a special thing going here. You really do. And so don't take it for granted, and I'm really happy that to come in every once in a while and jump in and bathe in the waters, as it were. All right. So this is a song that you can sing along. There's going to be a section where it comes along, and when you see the words in parentheses, you shout those out back to me, and you'll see it. So you'll see it happen, and I know you'll feel it. Okay. Here we go. Time gets tough